This is a feel good story and definitely an idea considering the economy that we live right now. My best friend and I bought a home and raised our kids together for a few years. It was like a sitcom. Like many aha moments, the idea was sparked by a casual throwaway line. In 2001, my best friend and I had been on our usual long distance phone call chatting about everything from Hollywood gossip to our life goals, as well as a new topic, my pregnancy. We talked every day, and I was sharing updates about the initial stages, even though she lived on the other side of the country in New Jersey. She was just as excited as I was for my impending bundle of joy, maybe even more so because of her lifelong love of kids. During our conversations, one of us said, "We should get a house together." While it was said casually at first, it was an idea that resonated with the both of us. We started to bounce it around more seriously and quickly realized it was possible. It started to feel like something we could actually do. Buying a home allowed us to combine resources. She had a young daughter and was a single mom working long hours as the director of publicity at a record label. I was a soon to be single mom, freaking out over motherhood, both excited and scared about the prospect of taking care of something with two legs instead of four. We could raise our kids together, pool our resources, time, and money while navigating home ownership. Home ownership is perhaps the fastest path to creating generational wealth, and buying a home with a friend cuts your expenses in half, including property taxes and home repairs. We discussed living in a duplex, which would allow us to have our space and privacy with a built in bestie only one flight of stairs away. I thought it could be my forever home, one I could leave for my daughter. At the time, it had been almost a decade since my bestie and I lived in the same state. But the summer of 2001, I sold my condo in Cali and moved back to my home state of New Jersey. It felt like getting the band back together. They say it takes a village to raise a child, and I decided moving back to Jersey for a home court advantage before I gave birth would be best. Buying a house with a friend is a huge investment. To make it work, communication was key. We made a list of must-haves for our new home. We were looking for a duplex with identical interior layouts with an enclosed garage and a backyard. Additionally, we wanted to be close to Manhattan because of her commute, and plenty of suburbs in New Jersey would meet that requirement. We spent our weekends going to open houses and saw lots of properties that had almost everything. However, I was getting nervous. It was the fall of 2001, and I was due at the beginning of 2002. I wanted us to be set up in our new place before the baby came without settling. We finally found the perfect house in Maplewood, New Jersey in late fall. It was an upstairs and downstairs two-bedroom duplex. The units had enclosed porches, and we could use that as home offices. Maplewood was an idyllic, artsy community with a few train stops away from Manhattan. Once we closed on the property, we had trouble getting the tenants out of the upper unit, which was my new home. Even though they had been given notice that the property had been sold, they hadn't found another place to live. After they finally left, I moved in with less than a month to spare before I gave birth. By buying a duplex together, we could give our kids the suburban lifestyle that would have been more challenging to attain if either of us had tried to do it on our own. And let's face it, you need your girls when you're going through tough times. Now, my BFF lived downstairs. It was great. I remember almost wanting to give up on breastfeeding because my milk wasn't flowing. One time, we convened in my kitchen for a dead of night commiseration that only a best friend would be willing to participate. Now, instead of a disembodied voice on a long distance phone call, we were face to face at my kitchen table. She encouraged me to keep trying. And before the sun came up, my baby was latching on, and she continued to breastfeed for the next 18 months. Those first few years together were like a sitcom, kind of like Golden Girls with kids. I think my daughter's first or second words were downstairs. I'm just going to skip to the end. She's just talking about some of the memories they had together. She says those were probably the best first few years I could have asked for as a new mother. Being able to share the hopes and fears of being a new mom and having a safety net of having a friend within reach was priceless. Now, I bring this up. Why? Because we are in very tenuous times as far as the economy. The social atmosphere is kind of jacked up, and women are coming up with different opportunities, different ways of being. And pouring into your friendships and pouring into your children is a great way to be and live. So just shining a light on this and promoting a happy story that has some different ways, different varieties of things that we can think about if you are a single mother or want to have a family, but still need that support system. Jump in the comments. Let me know what you think. Like, comment, share. This story is terrible. It's a mess. And this is what happens as these people push more and more folks further into the closet, and people can't live their lives the way they want to. They go into hiding and they're ashamed. And what happens when they're ashamed and their secret tumbles out? This could happen. GOP mayor unalives himself because he was outed by a right wing site for cross dressing. An Alabama mayor and pastor has unalived himself after a right wing site published images of him wearing women's clothes and makeup. This man, he was called Bubba. He was the mayor of Smith Station and served as the pastor of First Baptist Church in Phoenix City. He died by unaliving himself in front of police officers who were performing a welfare check. The conservative site 1819 News published a story about Mr. Copeland on Wednesday. The Daily Beast noted that it was previously owned by Conservative Alabama Policy Institute, and it's edited by an ex-contributor to Breitbart News, a large right-wing outlet. The story published with the headline, "The Secret Life of Smith Station's Mayor and Baptist pastor F.L. Bubba Copeland as a transgender curvy girl. It's a hobby I do to relieve stress." The story included the username for Mr. Copeland's accounts on Instagram and Reddit, and reported that Mr. Copeland appeared in various outfits, some more racy than others. The site stated that Mr. Copeland used the name Brittany Blair Summerlin and that he posted porn and shared advice on how to chemically transition. 1819 News reported that the Republican mayor confirmed that he operated the accounts, saying that it was a hobby for getting rid of stress. 1819 News wrote that Mr. Copeland asked them not to out him, but they did so anyway. The Daily Beast notes that the mayor did not appear to have any anti-LGBTQ stances. Now, this is the issue, though. When you support the party that is anti-LGBT, you support the party that is anti-LGBT. You are a Christian and you know their stances on LGBTQ stances. You know their stances is anti. Why are you in these groups? Why? Why are you part of a party that is anti who you are, anti-LGBT? Why are you a part of it? That is part of their problem. He might not have been anti, but he is part of the party that is anti. Mr. Copeland's church reacted to the story, calling it unbiblical behavior. In a statement, the pastor is reported to have told parishioners that the story didn't show who or what I am, adding that it would not cause my life to change. This will not waver my devotion to my family, serving my city, serving my church, Mr. Copeland said ahead of his last sermon on Wednesday. Mr. Copeland said that he had been the target of an internet attack and that a lot of things were taken out of context. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people had offered support. Yes, I have taken pictures with my wife in the privacy of our home in an attempt of humor because I know I'm not a handsome man nor a beautiful woman either. I apologize for any embarrassment caused by my private, personal life. And then down here, he's taking a picture with Trump. Like I said, I don't know what is the point of supporting these people, this party that you know. Yeah, I just don't get it. Lee County Sheriff Jay Jones said that on Friday that officers had attempted to pull over the pastor to perform a welfare check. Okay, so this person, Larry Dacharia, the Phoenix City School Superintendent, wrote on Facebook that he was a friend of Mr. Copeland. Please bear with me while I vent. I'm so angry right now and heartbroken. I witnessed a good man be publicly ridiculed and crucified over the last few days to the point that he took his own life today. I knew he was suffering, so I reached out to him yesterday and offered him support and encouragement. He was appreciative and acknowledged that he had been going through some dark days over the last few days. I just want to ask you, people who thought it was humorous to publicly ridicule him, are you happy now? What crime did he commit? Some of you people make me sick. I hope that you are really proud for our brother, F.L. Bubba Copeland. So, internet bullying is a hot mess. Outing somebody like this, knowing your crowd is going to pile on, is a mess. I don't know what to say about this. I don't know what they were thinking, but they know that their crowd is very mean spirited towards these things. I don't get supporting the party that's anti LGBT and being a pastor, knowing these stances. I don't get it. But y'all can go ahead and jump in the comments and let me know if you understand it. Like winning the lottery. Mike Johnson's ascent excites conservative Christians. So y'all know that as someone that is agnostic, I am so not excited. I'm the opposite of excited. The new Speaker of the House is a Southern Baptist who embodies evangelical beliefs and priorities with a long history of work against abortion and gay rights. 2 days after the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade last year, a little-known congressman named Mike Johnson took the stage at Christian Center Shreveport to celebrate. This is a day we've been waiting for a half century, he told the ebullient congregation, adding that there was no place he would rather be than with them. He beamed as he read portions of Louisiana's new law punishing abortion providers with a minimum of 1 year in prison and a fine of at least $10,000. They deserve it, brother, he said it with a chuckle. And then he closed with a prayer that cited scripture and Ronald Reagan. Mr. Johnson's sudden ascent last month to Speaker of the House, second in line to the presidency, was a surprising turn in a career built quietly in courtrooms as a lawyer representing socially conservative causes and through the Louisiana State House and the House of Representatives, to which he was elected in 2017. Mr. Johnson's path also wound through conservative evangelical churches and institutions where faith mingles almost inextricably with Republican politics. It is a world that sees him not as an occasional visitor or friendly supporter, but firmly as one of their own. The pastor at the church in Shreveport, Tim Carskaddon, had welcomed him to the stage with a joke. "We don't allow them to go to church here unless they vote for you." Now, as Mr. Johnson becomes arguably the most powerful elected Republican politician in America, many in that world are celebrating the unexpected triumph of a leader with impeccable conservative evangelical bona fides. For Southern Baptists, it's like winning the lottery, said Albert Mohler Jr., president of the Southern Baptist Theological Seminary. Mr. Johnson and his family have deep ties in the Southern Baptist Convention, which is the nation's largest Protestant denomination and often serves as a bellwether for American evangelicalism. He has attended Baptist churches for years and served in a national leadership role for his denomination, and his brother-in-law is the pastor of a large congregation in Shreveport. The previous speaker, Kevin McCarthy, is also a Southern Baptist, but the denomination is less culturally dominant in his home state of California. Some Southern Baptists says they did not even realize that Mr. McCarthy is also Baptist, and those who did know viewed him as less tightly embedded in the denomination. Mr. Mohler is among several Southern Baptists who emphasized in interviews how familiar, even ordinary, Mr. Johnson seemed to them, even as they recognized the extraordinary occasion of his election, noting Mr. Johnson's association through the years with institutions like Focus on the Family, which oppose abortion and gay marriage. Mr. Mohler said he would describe Mr. Johnson as he would describe himself, a conservative, evangelical Southern Baptist deeply involved in these issues for decades, and one who is absolutely representative of conservative evangelicalism. All I can say is next year's voting season is going to be very, very interesting. And the people who only vote or don't vote because of the presidency, yeah, this is what could happen. This is what could happen. Be aware of what's going on state and local level, because getting these evangelicals into office and in high positions and in low positions is going to lead us to Gilead, is going to lead us to the Handmaid's Tale. You guys go ahead, jump in the comments and let me know what you think.